Welcome, everyone. My name is Terry Vibey, and I am the founder of Women Who Risk. And I am so excited to be adding Sheri Porter and all of her thoughts and feels to our Women Leader interview series. So, Sheri, would you go ahead and introduce yourself, please? A little bit about yourself, your background, your work.
Okay. My name is Sheri Porter, and I started Simple Life about 10 years ago. And I work with people who are chronically mentally ill, and I enjoy that work because it's helping people who kind of are an assumed underdog, help them rise to the top because
Mhm.
they need that encouragement and positivity in their lives. And so I'm just over the moon excited to help them realize some of their potential. Whereas oftentimes in their life, they've not had those opportunities or experiences.
Right. And
Yeah.
before we even get started, I just wanted to make a quick comment about that. It's so amazing to know that you've started this work before it kind of became a thing, right? I mean, I'm glad that it's become a thing. People are much more aware, but you started before all that. So let's dive right in. So
Okay.
what inspired you to take joyful risks in your career? What started you 10 years ago?
My husband and I had decided that it was just time for a change in our lives, and he decided he was going to start a business working on dental equipment and through a franchise. And I said, well, I think I want to do this. I want to do the fun part of working with people with chronic mental illness because there is a residential part and I do what's called the habilitation part, which is bringing them in and doing things with them or helping them if they live independently. Whereas residential is more often a living situation where there are people who kind of tell you what you need to do, when you need to do it, and help set guidelines and rules for you to follow to get you to that independent living status. And so my first few meetings that I went to with people who wanted services, I was like, yep, I'm the fun part of this whole meeting because we're going to talk about the things that you want to learn and do. And we're going to do those in fun ways. Like we're going to learn how to follow through a project by completing an art project, follow through a work task by doing that art project. So it was a big risk because, yeah, we started from nothing. No one. I had no clients. I had a building. I had one employee, and I took all of my retirement money and said, okay, here we go. And I used my retirement money to start paying my first employee, and we started with our first member way back on September 15th of 2015.
Wow. What made you passionate about the whole mental health realm?
I had exposure to it from my husband, who had done that as part of his career
Mm,
path before. And there's just so much out there that people don't really realize, like the real person beneath the benefit, the
mm,
SNAP benefit. Oh, they get free money. Oh, they have housing assistance. But it's like there's a person under there who
mm,
has so much to offer so many. And so having been around him and some of what he had done, I was like, this is kind of exciting. Like helping them move out of their own self label, even because
mm.
a lot of times society has labeled them so many things. Oh, they're just a problem. Oh, they're just a drug addict. Oh, they're just an alcoholic. It's they're a person, and those people have so much to offer when you give them an opportunity or a chance.
Yeah. I just can't imagine the joy that they experience being seen and heard in a way they hadn't possibly maybe ever. So gotta commend you
I
on
would
that. That's
say,
beautiful.
yeah, I would say that there are quite a few of them who, over the years, I've seen some of them grow exponentially, and there are some who grow much slower. But also just seeing that growth is incredible. And having people who came to us and hardly spoke at all now are teasing and joking and gently picking on their peers and picking on us as staff. It's amazing to see those things because it's a person. I don't know. I'm just stuck on that word right now because one of my other big focuses is to break the stigma. Like, most people probably could see me out in public. I probably wouldn't be labeled as someone with severe depression or someone with severe anxiety, but I am. I take my medicine faithfully, and do I still have hard days? Absolutely. And it's one of those things where we're people, people who
Right.
have an additional struggle, you know.
Well, and I think that that's a really, really good point. I mean, just even for myself, being vulnerable here and transparent here, is I had a horrible week last week, and it wasn't when I say horrible, it felt really heavy. It felt really dark. I felt really ineffective, uh, lack of energy, lack of motivation, just all the things for no apparent reason. And it lasted a full week, and I just basically survived through it. So, and I wouldn't, label myself as mentally ill, but was that some kind of depression? Absolutely. I don't know why or how or what all was involved, and I made it through it, thank goodness. And I think we all experience some kind of mental, emotional, physical distress
Yes.
that needs some kind of support. So the fact that you're out there and giving support is, again, it's a beautiful thing, which is absolutely part of the reason I wanted to talk to you. So, thinking about your journey,
Yep.
what would you say is one of the most significant risks you've taken, and what was the outcome of that risk, good or bad?
I think the risk was just starting the business and then hoping it would go and that there would be people who wanted my program. I've done it a little differently than the other day hab programs that exist in Sioux City. We take a much more active approach to everything we do. We work hard at giving back to the community in which we live. We volunteer every week and finding places that would accept us as volunteers and then going through the heartache of the places that said, it's not quite what we thought. We're not going to have you back, and just going, oh, now what? Now we got to find another one,
Mhm.
and then there have been those rewards where um, people have said, oh my gosh, we're so thankful that you come, and I love your people, and they're so fun to talk to, and um, I guess Kevin at Mid American Museum of Aviation and Transportation in Sioux City is one of those people. He came to visit us at our building a couple weeks ago because we always go there to help clean and talk. And he's like, I just love it when you guys come. He goes, and I don't even really care that you clean. I just love for you to come. And it's so fun to talk and to learn more about them. And so, yeah, that's super exciting to me that we're able to have those realizations in the community that people who have given us a chance say, wow, we have a lot of things in common,
Mhm.
more in common than we have different. Um,
Right.
so the risk was just like, I just struck out and did it. And like, what's it look like day to day? And there were some days where it was super hard because there was just me. And then there were some days where it went better. And as time went on, found more and more. um, people who were supportive and encouraging, and then started to build a team of employees that just all along the way, I've had such wonderful people, and they've not all stuck with me for the entire time, but there's been a lot where we were like, hey, we really did a really cool thing here.
Yeah. Well, I think that it's the challenge and it's the reward, right? It's finding the right connections, which you can't find if you're not out there and you have some that say, not mine to do, or not my thing, or we're not the right connection. But if you weren't getting yourself out there and even checking, even having
Right.
that experience, right? And your people with you, then you don't know. So it is a risk. It's a risk to connect. And it's a risk to find
Absolutely.
out whether the connection is the right connection or not. But if you weren't out there doing it, there would be no connection.
Right. Right.
So yeah,
Yeah. And there's
I
been
think
some pretty amazing connections.
which is why you've been doing it for 10 years, right?
Yes.
You made connections,
Yes.
you made progress. You're working with the system and within the system. Um,
Yes.
yeah. So do you feel like there was any significant risk that really led you through a breakthrough?
Every day, every day getting up and going in and saying, okay, what's it going to look like today? What are we going to have today? How are we going to do today? And then I would say probably 4 years ago, I was really challenged by the people I work with. Um, the members is what we say. They said, hey, let's do something big. And I said, like, what? What do you mean big? What are you talking about? And they go, well, let's do a vacation. And immediately I'm like, well, how can we do a vacation? What? Oh my gosh, do you know what that costs? Do you know what we should? Oh, and they then said, well, like, could we go to Florida? And I'm like, well, that might be a little out of our range. And they tossed around a few other ideas, and we hit on going to the Black Hills. And so I said, you know what? Okay, let's do this. Let's figure this thing out. And without really having a great plan, I said, okay, next year we're going to do the first annual, and we call it a day-cation because we take one day, 24 hours, and we go and see something that they've not seen before, and we come back in the same day. We load up all the food that they need, we load up all the drinks that they need, and then we usually eat out one meal because then it's a kind of a fun meal that we can eat someplace. And so, yeah, that was probably one of my biggest challenges. And it cost about $10,000 to get the charter bus to take us out there and bring us back. And people are like, well, how are you going to make that money? And I said, I don't know. I'll figure it out. It'll come. And we just kept doing our thing day in and day out and talking to people. And I asked my friends and family for support in terms of food and water and sodas. And then pretty soon, the message kind of went around a little more, and we got a little money in, and we were off. We did it. We did our first vacation, and it was so funny because one of the best memories, and I'll carry this with me probably till the day I die. We were driving on the bus, getting close to Mount Rushmore, and one of the members goes, wow, I thought it was going to be bigger than that. And I just laughed and I said, wait till we get a little closer. And we got off the bus, and this person goes, oh, wow, that is big. So it was just so fun and such a great, I got to experience that with that person. I
Mhm.
had been personally to the Black Hills before, but this person never had been. And I was just like, oh, I got to do that with you. And there's 100 stories like that on even just the little things we do day in and day out. Like,
Mhm.
I got to experience that with you. I I have that in my heart, and I carry that with me. That continues to help me take the risk. Okay, what's next? What are we going to do next? What's the next thing? You
Mm.
know, and it's not just what's the next big vacation. It's what's the next thing for here we're going to start October. What's the next thing for Halloween? How are we going to have fun this month getting ready for Halloween? Not making it scary because obviously some people don't enjoy the scare, but offering opportunities to enjoy the scare if you like to be scared. And so I'm thankful I have employees who enjoy being scared because they'll take them to like Nightmare on 4th Street or someplace else, and I will not go because that is not my thing. So yeah, so it's just every success we have, and not every day is cake. I mean, seriously, there's some days are pretty heavy because some of these individuals, their mental illness is so big, it just wrecks about everything they could even think in a day. And they're so worried about how life is going to be and if this is going to happen or what if this happens or what if that happens. It's just so big for them. And so some days it's just a matter of putting my arm around somebody's shoulder and saying, hey, we're going to get through this and it's going to be okay. And they'll say, well, how do you know? And I said, well, because we're in it together. We're going to figure it out. I have one gal who is worried often about if she's going to be in trouble with the law. And so I kind of gone through several different things like, oh, we don't want to think about that, or oh, that's not going to happen. But those don't change her thought process. Her thought process is this is going to happen. The law is going to come after me. I'm going to be in trouble for what I did when I didn't know any better. And so I've kind of come up with a good saying of, you know what, if you get those papers, you bring them to me and we'll figure it out together. And oftentimes that's enough to help her just get over the little hump of being so worried about what's going to happen. And it's being creative like that all the time because nobody's worries are the same. Nobody is thinking about
Right.
the same things all the time. And so just finding them and meeting them where they're at. Like, what can I do for you today to help you today? I don't have to fix your whole life. I just need to worry about helping you today.
Yeah. Really
I don't know. Was
focusing
that
on the
anywhere near the
human.
question you asked? Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So
yeah,
really focusing on the human and what I hear along with that fun and that, focusing on the human is a lot of hope and heart. So you
yeah,
bringing that forward, helping
yeah,
them experience that as well. Um, yeah.
yeah.
So
It's
I love,
so
go ahead.
I am so passionate about them, and I just every time I have an opportunity to talk, one of the things I always want to say to people is like, you may think they have it easy because they get money, they get food stamps, they get rental assistance. But at the end of the day, these are folks who really live on $500 disposable income per month, if that even. And most of them are much less than that if they live in a group home. And then let's go ahead and add, like, if they have a habit of smoking, um, that takes a big chunk of their money as
Expensive. Yeah.
well. And so it's not just an easy lifestyle that they get this money, they have this benefit, they get the rental assistance. There's a reason why they have those things. It's because they can't go to work. And some of them can do one day of work a week. And that's all they can do. And it only may only be 4 hours. So I just really feel that they're often unfairly judged
Mm,
because they get so much. And I'm like, if you really knew how little it is, or how if someone
right.
made $10 too much per month, they lose their benefit. What that really means for that individual is that they have an $8,000 to $10,000 medication bill per month. And because they made $10 too much in income, they now have an eight to $10,000 medication bill. So
Mm,
tell me how that is easy, and
right,
so we work a lot too on making sure our folks have their benefits and that, they can continue to get the medications they need to even feel halfway happy during the day.
right. And I think that it's so
Yeah.
easy, especially in a world that's distanced, which social media, even though you can talk to a bunch of people, but there's a distance there, right? You don't truly know anyone. You don't know what their story
No.
is. You don't know what their background is. It's so easy to not just judge, but make assumptions. So just like you're talking about,
Oh,
well, they're
for
on
sure.
Medicare or they get welfare or they what, but what does that really mean unless you're in it, experiencing it, or in your case, supporting people that have to deal with it? You don't have the details. You do not know. And so that's where I think it's so important for us to be having this conversation. And I'm sure that you have this type of conversation a lot, trying to educate people on what's really happening with these poor souls that have these challenges that not everyone has to deal with. And, that free money gets them this far in their journey.
Yeah. And one of the things I do along with that is, yes, I want them to have the benefits they need. But we also then, like for my part of that, I'm like, okay, I get up and I come to work every day. I pay my taxes and you get a benefit from our government. That's how our system is set up. But we also give back as a group by going to volunteer for the other nonprofits in Sioux City. The only Pretty much the only way you make money at cleaning is if your nonprofit provides supported employment and you're cleaning buildings for a job with those individuals. Otherwise, your cleaning comes right out of your pocket. Like we pay for cleaning because guess what? There's nothing else to do. We as staff do it or we pay someone to do it. So if we can go and do it for another nonprofit, oh my gosh, then they have that money for their programming, which is what they need. That's why individuals go to the different places because they need things to help them become a better member of the community in which they live.
Yeah. Yeah. It's again, there's so much we don't know as an overall
It's a,
society.
it's a very complicated system. And I think the intention was really good when it was set up and that it was supposed to help people. But I also think that there is fraud, there is waste, there is abuse. But most of the people I work with, that's not a reality. They need the system that was set up to help them. And yeah, because everybody's like, oh, how are you going to deal with these Medicaid changes with the big, beautiful bill? Well, luckily, we're not seeing any significant changes. I'm hopeful that we won't. A couple of the things that cause me a bit of concern are the 20 hours per week because along with working and um, one of the consequences from uh, what was that big virus? What was that dumb virus?
COVID?
Um,
COVID?
COVID-19. I couldn't think of that.
Want to.
Along with that, all the wages went up, and
Mm,
so now we have these individuals who can only have $2,000 worth of resources. And you think, wow, that would be nice to have 2,000 in the bank. Well, okay, until you have to really try and live with that. You pretty much will never own a house. You pretty much will not, you just won't have a whole lot, that's for
mm,
sure. And the wages they make, we've had to work with one gal a couple of different times because the she does a good job at her job, so they want to give her more hours. Well, then we're back to that point where she'll make 10, or even if she makes $1,000 too much a month. She still has an $8,000 to $10,000 medicine bill. So
Right.
how do you kind of make that fair? And so it's something people have talked about, which is the Medicaid cliff, and it's a cliff because
Mm.
I
It's
mean, you
awful.
go over by a dollar. Yeah, you
Mm.
go over by a dollar, and pretty soon you're done with Medicaid, and you got to pay for everything on your own. Well, that's not realistic, and it's not just my people. It's so many other people in society. Single working moms who are really trying to make something different for themselves and their families. That Medicaid cliff is scary.
Yeah. How do you overcome feelings of fear and self-doubt when you're taking the risk of being out there and doing this work?
Mm. Um, I cry.
Mhm.
I really let my feelings out because I think when you would bottle up those thoughts of, oh, am I going to make it? Is it going to be okay? Am I going to do this right? Am I going to do that right? I cry and say, okay, that didn't work. What's next? And so luckily, I have a really supportive husband, and he helps me and talks to me on the backside when I call him and say, okay, I can't do this. And he goes, yeah, you can. What do we got? What are we working with today? How are
Mhm.
we going to work through it? And so I have a very supportive husband. I do have faith. I have Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, and I say often, but for the grace of God, my business works, but for the grace of God. There is no other
Mhm.
reason why it works because I'm swimming a path that um, is hard, it's lonely at times, because when you're the boss leading a team, you can't really bitch down. You have to kind of just swallow everything and go, okay, what's next? How am I going to find this? And then looking to the community for other individuals who would be a good support to me, that I can call and say, hey, I've heard about this. What do you know? And saying,
Mhm.
okay, I was thinking about this. What do you think? Especially people who have kind of walked the path of a woman taking a risk, jumping out on her own and saying, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this done. And so asking them and saying, okay, well, what do you think about this? Or have you ever seen this somewhere? Have you seen this work? It's just really about surrounding yourself with those people who are going to be positive to you and help hold you accountable. Like if I say, okay, I'm going to do this, somebody inevitably will turn back around on me in a couple weeks and say, how'd that turn out? And if I haven't done it, I'm like, so I've learned, when I put myself out there, saying I'm going to do something, I usually have people checking back in with me. And so that kind of keeps me moving forward as well, because I want to be a woman of my word. I want to continue to provide the excellent services that we do. Um, I feel like we're a really standout program here in Sioux City, and I really I want to continue building it and finding those spaces that people need and that they can be safe.
And what I definitely heard was you mentioned day to day. Again, even when getting your support, what do we do today? How do we get through today? And I heard, community and being vulnerable and asking for help and giving that support. So that real community connection, going back and forth. So, balancing that responsibility with your relationships in a sense, right?
Mhm.
Um, whether that's your personal relationship with you and your husband and getting support with relationships with your workers and relationships in the community. And it's that family of relationships.
Yes,
It sounds like that allows you to actually truly handle the responsibilities of being the boss and having to take those risks for the whole
yeah,
group.
yeah. And it is because you look at like, okay, if we make the decision to buy a new van, what is that going to look like if we need money to go to an event or if I need to hire a new employee? And so it is about building that community, like you said, of people who are going to be one of my cheerleaders And in being a cheerleader for me, I am a cheerleader for them, saying, okay, but how are you doing this? As well as just being held accountable and them saying, check back in with me. I think an accountability partner is huge on so many levels. And I've been fortunate enough to have a couple of different accountability partners, and
Mhm.
I'm very thankful for that. But yeah, and then just continuing to grow, day to day, like looking at what did I do today? Is what I did today going to make a difference in the lives of the people we work with tomorrow? And if it's not, why did I make those choices today? Do I need to make different ones tomorrow?
Yeah, yeah. It's reflection, right?
Yeah,
Reflection to go with it. And I want to make sure that you have an opportunity to say once again, so the name of your business.
it's called Simple Life, and we're located in Sioux City, Iowa, right off of Gordon Drive on South Martha Street. Um, yeah, and we work with people who are chronically mentally ill, and there's so much joy, even in the one day I was walking through, and I have gained a little weight over the course of time, as some people do. And I was walking through the room, and one of the girls goes, "Hey, Sherry." And they looked and said, "Yeah." And they go, "Are you going to have a baby?" And I said, no, I'm just getting fat. So, and it's just like, and like so many people looked at me and went, "Oh," and I just laughed because I thought it was one of the funniest things ever. But that's being real. We're being
Right,
real with each other. We're developing these relationships that are solid and strong, and that, there's not the fear of like, oh, do I say
right,
that? Do I not say that? It's fear because there's no judgment. We work really hard at no judgment. We also work really hard at soft voices. So when people tell me to speak up, it's just kind of unnatural for me because normally I'm just a little soft spoken. So yeah,
yeah. And true vulnerability invites a deeper relationship, right? So that's absolutely what it sounds like you're building.
trying to.
What do you think women of the world need to hear right now about taking risks?
Hmm. I think they need to hear in themselves, go for it.
Mm,
Because um, I've heard it said often, um, the only regrets you have are the chances you didn't take. And I really feel that because I feel like, if I wouldn't have taken a chance to try and start something different, there wouldn't be anything different for chronically ill individuals in Sioux City. There are others that have programs, and I'm not disrespecting them, but I know that mine is different because
mm,
my members tell me so. They've been to the other ones, and they say, "Wow, we do so much here." And I make it different because that's just who I am and how I choose to put our program first and try and have my staff do maybe more than they thought they could or would or should. But I just think, man, if you're thinking of risking anything, go for broke. Because guess what? The only regrets you really have are the chances and the choices you didn't take. Because
right,
you have no idea of the success that can come and how great it will feel, or how you'll look back and go, wow, we've been doing this 10 years. This is crazy. We've done some things right, we've done some things wrong, but for the most part, we're doing it and we're moving forward and we're making
mm,
a difference in the lives of people. And that's really, my name tag even says, simply put, make a difference, because
mm,
that's what I believe. And we had new name tags done this year, and everybody got to choose their own simply put, like whatever kind of their catchphrase was.
mm.
And mine is make a difference because we have the power to make a difference. You just need to grab it and go for it.
Yeah. And as a recovering perfectionist myself, one of the things that I had to learn to allow myself is to make mistakes. And one of the ways I changed my perspective around it, and I think you've really embodied that, is so you fail forward.
Hmm.
It's a lesson. It's something that we can get something from that maybe helps redirect us, just like those connections that didn't work out for you. So it was
Yeah,
a connection didn't work out. You did the work still.
yeah,
You were present, and it's like, okay, well, where do I go next? That day-to-day philosophy you have as well.
yeah. 'Cause yeah, like there were a couple of connections I made that I thought, oh, I think this person will really kind of encourage me and motivate me and push me forward. And then after a period of time, a couple of weeks, I went, hmm, that's that's not how I want to operate. That's not what I want to do. So this connection really isn't what I thought it was going to be. And it's okay. I let it go and I'm like, okay, where's the next one? What else can I do? Who else is out there? Who else can touch my life and I can touch their life?
Taking the risk.
Taking the risk.
Uh,
Because, yeah, life would be kind of boring without risk. Let's just admit it.
well, and I think just from my own perspective, one of the things that I try to talk about is helping people realize that they take risks daily.
Yeah.
Number one, living is a risk. Every change
Oh,
we make, every decision we make, it's a risk because it could go right, it could go wrong. It's a
yes,
risk. It's how do we handle the
yes.
results, right?
Yes. How do you pick yourself back up? And for me, and one of the things that I kind of go back and forth about, like, should I really cry in front of the members who are at my building or should I not? And there are some days I just can't help it. The tears just flow and they're like, and they care. They're like, oh,
Mhm.
it's going to be okay. You're going to get through it. And personally, this year I lost my mom. And so that's been a
Mhm.
big part of, some of my tears, but also just, some of the things I thought were going to go well that didn't go so well. And it's okay to be sad about things that don't go well. And I think that for so much of our lives, I'm 55. And so I feel like for the first big portion of my life, it's like, oh, but we don't want to show anybody that it didn't work out or that it wasn't okay or that we were
Right.
sad or that we were mad. And now anymore, it's like, I want to be careful with my anger, absolutely, because I don't want to hurt anybody in it. But it's okay if people know that I'm upset because it shocks me and I don't like some things. And so I let people know, and that's okay. And it's okay to
Mhm.
let them know it's okay to be sad, and it's okay to cry. And Susan started says, "Oh, don't cry," and I said, "It's okay to cry. It
Mhm.
really is okay. Let's normalize that. Let's
Uh,
make it a healthy part of like, oh, my
For
heart was
men
broken.
and women,
Oh,
right?
for sure. For sure. Because, yes, we have a bunch of tough guys. And yeah. And so we just take the time to slow down a little bit. And it's
Mhm.
okay to be upset. And so I don't know that they're to the point where they would cry yet, but we'll get there.
And not everybody will. I mean, we're all different, right? And it's knowing we have the permission personally
Yeah.
with internally, right? We
Yeah.
allow ourselves
Yeah.
because you know it's all about this, right?
Yeah. It's about being
That's
real.
there's that external stuff, but we
Yeah.
make the choices and we take the risks to be
Yeah.
vulnerable, to show our emotions, etc.
Yeah.
So like you said, normalizing it. I think
Yeah.
normalizing that, the fun, the hope and heart that you work with, all those things that are part of your mission
Yeah.
on helping those that are mentally challenged.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So, just kind of wrapping things up, what vision is really pulling you towards your next joyful risk?
Um, so I have a just cause, and it's to see that individuals are treated fairly, kindly, with respect, love, and compassion, no matter what they look like, act like, talk like, or smell like. Because guess what? We are all people and we're all the same on the inside. And my next big risk is going to be trying to develop an additional arm of our program.
Mm,
Like peer support is kind of the official title of it. We're starting to dig into what does that look like? What do the regs and rules say we have to do? And then add our personal touch to it because it's our personal touch at
mm,
Simple Life that makes our program different. It's who we are. It's how we handle people and places and
mm,
situations. And so yeah, so we're gonna maybe step out a little different and peer support is about maybe hiring a couple of people who have like walked through parts of the program and are being pretty successful with parts of their life right now, where they would be able to talk to someone else and say, hey, you know what, it's okay. We all make mistakes. Okay, so you've had 15 jobs. That's okay. You just haven't found the right one yet, you
mm,
know? And so that's kind of where I kind of have a little thing going on that like, um, I want to employ people to make a difference. And so I think a lot of our chronically mentally ill individuals feel like they have to be stuck, somewhere else doing dishes or, something like that. Whereas I want to give them the joy of helping someone else because
mm,
really that personal connection is where a lot more fulfillment comes through. Not that people don't enjoy doing dishes. I'm not saying anything bad about doing dishes, please. It's just, yeah, they're not my favorite to do, that's for sure. But sometimes when people have an opportunity to be engaged with other people, to encourage them on the road, that it just is, it's huge. It's life changing.
absolutely. And I just want to say, Sheri Porter with Simple Life, the fact that you've created this wonderful 10-year foundation just feels like divine timing that you're now looking at, you know, creating this new branch. It's like you've built a really, really strong foundation, and I think it's going to just really help root this new path that you're opening up with your business. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I'm excited. And so, yeah, hopefully in a year we'll have it up and going and doing well.
Wonderful. Well, I really want to thank you so much for spending time with me and sharing your perspective around joyful risk and your life and your work. And um, any final thoughts before we close out?
Um, we're all the same. We all want the same things. That's really all it is for me. We're human. We're all the same. We all want the same things, just on different levels. So
Yeah,
make a difference.
beautiful. Thank you,
Yeah.
Sheri. I really appreciate your
Thank
time.
you.